Hi there, it's Janice Thomson from JazzleDazzleCraft.co.uk. I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator and I live and work in Scotland. And today I am filming my Stamping Through the Alphabet series card for M. So, what am I doing? So I have a mixed floral stamp set out. And I have the tiniest little piece of designer series paper from the mixed media designer series paper. I've already said that. And this little tiny wee scrap was there. And this scrap that was left over from something I did with the new corrugated whatever embossing folder. I don't know its name because I've not got it in front of me. And I thought, these were like two things, and I thought I could make a card out of them. They're just like, sometimes you see something and it just inspires you to and I'm going to do a wee bit of clear embossing. So, first of all, I'm going to clear emboss this picture. As I say, I've got the scrap of corrugated, I've got a white card base, I've got some white layers here as well, so we'll see where we go. As I say, I haven't practiced this, I just thought I might be able to do it. And I've got my embossing buddy, my Versamark ink, and my clear embossing powder out. My heat tool is just to the side of me. I've got this silicone mat as well, and I'm going to pop that on there. And basically all I'm going to do with this is I've actually got some tweezers. Oh, look at that. Maybe it's a bit difficult because it's a very small piece of paper, and I want to just get do you know what, it might be easier to just dip that in the ink. I just want it covered, absolutely covered. So there's no need for the emboss buddy for this part. And then I'm just going to cover this with clear embossing powder. I think that might be well covered. I don't think I need all that. Right, so where is my tray? Why did I not have that ready? Where's my tray? I don't have it, right, it's not here, is it? So I just got a piece of paper. Have I got a piece of paper ready? No. I don't think you watch anyone else that's as disorganised as I am. Oh. I didn't think this through, so no tips on how to make this easier, obviously. Right, so I'm just pop that to this side. And let's heat emboss this while the tweezers have got a hold. I might have to just move the tweezers after. We'll see what happens. So I don't think we got Versamark ink on the edges here, so I'm going to go over it again. But this time I can hold this bit because this bit here is fine. So let's just hold this there. And then where's the Versamark mark? So I did it on the silicone mat because that'll wash. So let's make this as sticky as we can. You can pick up some of that as well, but I think we'll just go in and pick up it was the corners and the edges, so I think the tweezers are not particularly in the way because the bit that the tweezers is on is glossed nicely. So let's see now what happens. And now we have a nice glossy picture. Now you can build, oh gosh, I've got myself in a bit of a blue. Right, have I got another scrap of paper? Let me see. I think I want to do this once more. I'm going to bring in this paper and just put more Versamark over the whole thing. So you can do this as many times as you want and just build up just a nice glossy finish. I'm aware that some of that powder will stick to the Versamark that's on the paper. We're all right with that. We'll sort that later. Right, put that to the side. I just started to think what I could put that on. Have I got my other silicone mat handy? Yeah. As you see, I didn't plan this. This is just see what happens. So just let that dry, and it now looks like something that's been glazed. I don't know how well you can see that. And I'm just going to set that aside and let it dry. Now we are going to do more clear heat embossing, but I'm just going to put this what I can of this back in the jar. Things for washing, paper in the bin, and get another. Should have had a bigger piece, but just another scrap. Here we'll manage. Right, so now I want to stamp. Well, I've got everything covered in this anyway. So I didn't practice this. I don't think I have done clear embossing on such a small piece of paper ever before, so I'm just wiping over this layer here. And I want to bring in this stamp, which is the same floral image, basically a daisy, as is in my little piece of paper. But I just think that just some clear embossing in the background of this will give it some texture, reflect the picture, but not interfere with my tiny little focal point that I've made from that little. So I'm stamping up, inking up the stamp with my Versamark. I've already used my emboss buddy. I'm basically just going to pop the image towards the top corner, top left hand corner there. Now I'm being aware of, I don't know if I want, see that comes, where does that come down to? It's going to come down to there. Yes, I think I'll just do that image just the once, and then we'll have this piece with the focal point kind of down here. Right, that's it. That's something else decided. Right, okay, so I am going to put some powder on that before I heat it, am I? So if I throw my bit of paper away. I pop this with a crease on it. I've got my clear embossing powder here. If I had my tray, I have an embossing tray that you can buy in our annual catalogue, and I don't have it around me. It's usually here. That's the way it goes with me. It's here until I need it. We'll manage with a small piece of paper, I think. Just a bit too much in that corner there. I'm going to leave it at that just now. Pop this back in. Right, let me get everything back a bit more into the middle so you can see better what's going on here. And lid on my ink. I am going to heat that up in a minute. I'm just... I did have a little brush. Here we go. I have a little watercolour brush here, which we don't want to use anything bigger than this here because it's quite, that's it. But because it's clear, it won't be too much of a nuisance if I haven't quite got all the extra bits off. But let's heat this up now. This will be the longest video ever because I faffed about. But you know, crafting is not meant to be a rushed, precise affair. Creativity unfolds as your ideas unfold anyway. Right, so that is okay. And that is going to be stuck onto the card base like that. And then that about here. And then my little picture on top. And that's my little mixed media style card. And I don't want to add much more to that because I think there's just something in here that's annoying me. I'm not worried about that. There's a tiny little speck of something which I think it's probably something in the clear emboss powder I probably got. So let's see if we can glue this up, because that is really all my plan was, to make a very simple mixed media card. Usually mixed media is not simple, but I'm thinking I want to stick this onto another piece of white just to stiffen it up, and I only thought of that just after I put the glue on. So we'll get this to stick down on here and then we'll trim it off. So my design is evolving slowly. I'll just take the worst of that, not the worst, a chunk of that off so I can see better what I'm doing. Right. I think that's just, will I be able to take a sliver off there? I would be much easier if I had my wee guillotine here, but I don't, that wasn't quite enough. There we go, that's better. You just know when it looks right, it looks right. And even more than that, I'm going to trim this down and stick this onto another layer, just to help, because of the heat embossing. If you stick it onto another layer, it just helps it to be flat. And layers of white are really quite elegant. Have you stuck with me this far? Well done. Let's just make sure that really gets a grip. You can even, if you really want your glue spread properly, just take your bone folder, the edge of that, because it's nice and smooth, it won't damage your paper, but it helps spread the glue properly. So you got a nice flat finish. And then we'll glue that on to the card base. But it's very subtle. It does look like it's just a watermark. Now, I think we do have to use glue here. Either that or dimensionals. Oh, it could be dimensionals. Let's glue this onto the card, this piece. And then let's put the picture on with a dimensional. And then that way card's got enough dimension and texture. There we go. And I'm just going to pop a bit of wet glue on each dimensional, one for extra strength, but also, pardon me, just gives me a moment if I don't feel I get it exactly where I want it to be. But the lines in the corrugated piece actually make that quite easy. So there you have, a bit convoluted. It took me a wee while with the heat embossing and faffing about, but that's me. So I hope you like that. I just don't know how much of the detail of the clear embossing you can see in the background, but it's just enough to add some interest. And the glossy finish here makes it look like a tile, like a ceramic tile look. So thank you so much for sticking with me right to the end of this. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Please share this out with anyone, and please press the bell icon to get notified when I'm coming on again. Sharing this with your friends or to Pinterest just helps to drive more people, and the more subscribers I've got, the more my videos get put in front of people to suggest they watch them. Anyway, thank you so much. I really appreciate you.